Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin Part 90 explanation. So let's start our explanation. Inside the black flying boat, Luo Feng, with just a thought, erased the karmic mark on the surface of the flying boat. Emperor Qing, sensing this, asked with some confusion, "Brother Luo Feng, why did you suddenly erase the mark?" "I left the mark on purpose, to follow the causality and track the follower," Luo Feng smiled. "My avatar has just discovered the tracker and eliminated him." "Who was tracking us?" Emperor Qing inquired. "It was Mist Teeth God Emperor from Deceit Workshop." Luo Feng shook his head. "The moment I noticed him, I crushed him. He probably didn't discover my identity. It's a pity that he was a cultivator from the source world. I only destroyed one of his avatars." The spoils of war Luo Feng obtained were valued at approximately 12 million primordial crystals, much less than what Kumo Divine Emperor had. It can't be helped. Kumo Divine Emperor had no avatars, and all his treasures were with him, naturally making him wealthier. Mist Teeth God Emperor is famously difficult to deal with. Emperor Qing couldn't help saying, "You crushed him immediately upon detection." "In one move," Luo Feng said with a slight smile. For all he knows, he might have thought it was a low-level primordial life ambushing him. Emperor Qing's heart trembled. Crushed in one move? Mist Teeth God Emperor, a mid-stage divine emperor on a deeper level of accumulation than even himself, Emperor Qing, was crushed just like that. In this moment, Emperor Qing gained a clearer awareness of the disparity in strength between himself and Luo Feng. "Eliminating him in one move, I can hide my information as much as possible," Luo Feng said earnestly. "It's better to hide as much as possible before the confrontation with Elder Tian He. Elder Tian He has reached this level a long time ago, and though Luo Feng was confident about dealing with him, he dared not underestimate him. We know quite a lot about Elder Tian He, but he knows very little about you." Emperor Qing nodded. "In terms of intelligence, Brother Luo Feng, you have the advantage." Luo Feng nodded. After a brief chat, a blood-colored shadow finally returned to the flying boat and merged back into Luo Feng. Just now, Luo Feng had split off fully half of his energy reserve to attack the tracker. "We can speed up now," Luo Feng urged. "Without the tracker, we can go on a good hunt. As for Elder Tian He, we'll deal with him once we're back." "Sure," responded Emperor Qing and drove the black flying boat. Its speed immediately soared. Yulon City. A spotless white avian floated in the air. This was a flying treasure crafted from the entire corpse of a low-level primordial life, known as the Soul Feather White Sparrow, and was Elder Tian his favorite flying treasure. The Soul Feather White Sparrow was spacious inside, into which Mist Teeth God Emperor flew. Inside the avian, Elder Tian He, dressed in a white robe, sat there with a calm gaze on Mist Teeth God Emperor. "Mist Teeth, what exactly happened?" "Deputy Workshop Master, I was tracking Luo Feng and Emperor Qing. We hadn't gone far from the city, and the surrounding areas should have been relatively safe." Mist Teeth God Emperor was also puzzled, "But suddenly, I was ambushed by a low-level primordial life. I could not even withstand one of its moves." Mist Teeth God Emperor found it unbelievable. It felt like a Divine Emperor Perfection level low-level primordial life. Divine Emperor Perfection level. Elder Tian He frowned in doubt. Such a primordial life at this level should be the absolute upper echelon of a certain species. Why would it approach so near to Yulon City? Mist Teeth God Emperor said, "I believe, even faced with a late-stage Divine Emperor of low-level primordial life, I should be able to escape with my life. If we fought directly, I could manage a few moves. But this time, I couldn't withstand a single one. I feel it was like a primordial life with Divine Emperor Perfection." "Show me the entire battle process," Elder Tian He said with a frown. "Yes." Mist Teeth God Emperor waved his hand. The entire battle sequence from his memory was displayed in the air. In the memory image, as he piloted his flying boat, suddenly a massive furry claw emerged from the depths of the sky, enveloping the entire sky. This huge claw. Elder Tian He observed carefully. This gigantic furry claw, with soft fur and 5 sharp yellow-black talons, had a mottled surface and a faint aura of terror. The moment the claw descended, it already sliced through space, forming a spatial cage that trapped Mist Teeth God Emperor's flying boat. The claw then clenched abruptly. Mist Teeth God Emperor was completely killed before he could use any life-saving methods. Although low-level primordial lives are powerful, their techniques are usually quite unsophisticated, Mist Teeth remarked, but this furry claw trapped me with one move, too exquisite for me even to resist. Only at Divine Emperor perfection level, low-level primordial life could manifest their innate talents to such a terrifying extent. Elder Tian He nodded in agreement. A Divine Emperor perfection level, low-level primordial life, with a powerful and terrifying life form and skill so artful that a casual move could be extremely sophisticated. It was indeed possible for such a being to crush Mist Teeth God Emperor with one paw. It does seem like a move made by a Divine Emperor perfection level, low-level primordial life, Elder Tian He said with a frown, but it's too coincidental. You were tracking Luo Feng and Emperor Qing, and to be attacked just after leaving the city is too convenient. And the place where you were attacked is too close to Yulon City. For a Divine Emperor perfection level primordial life to risk sneaking so close, just to crush a mid-stage Divine Emperor cultivator like you. Upon hearing this, Mist Teeth God Emperor also believed it to be reasonable. To take such a risk for a Divine Emperor perfection level, low-level primordial life being so close to Yulon City is generally part of a significant plot. To kill just one of his avatars? I think there's another possibility, Elder Tian He said with narrowed eyes. Mist Teeth looked at Elder Tian He. It could be the action of one of the elders, Elder Tian He stated. One of the elders? Mist Teeth was startled. Luo Feng and Emperor Qing came from the source world and have some backgrounds. Luo Feng disrespected me, and now they've left the city so openly. Elder Tian He smiled slightly. I've suspected all along that he must have something to rely on. Mist Teeth nodded. On the surface, the two of them left the city, but in reality, there must be a protector in secret, Elder Tian He said. This enormous claw might have been the work of that protector. The primary material for cultivators' artifact refining comes from countless corpses of low-level primordial life forms, so secret treasures in the shape of vast claws are rare but do exist. They have an elder backing them? Mist Teeth was somewhat surprised. Interesting. A glint of gold flashed in Elder Tian He's eyes. Rather than bowing down to me and offering up 50 million primordial crystals, they prefer to seek help from an elder? It seems Luo Feng is quite proud. Deputy Workshop Master, if the elder knows your identity and still dares to meddle, I'm afraid they have ill intentions. Mist Teeth expressed his concern. Elder Tian He whispered softly, I want to see which elder dares to meddle in my affairs. What about elders? He has never been afraid. In the dark sacred realm, the lowest threshold is being a late-stage Divine Emperor enlightened being. Elder Tian He has been through countless power struggles and killings. Originating from the source world, he has never feared such strife. His experience in fighting at the elder level is vast. Even if an elder dares to intervene, I will still tear apart one of your avatars. Elder Tian He's gaze grew colder. Xiao Yike. Elder Tian He suddenly spoke. Deputy Workshop Master. The figure in golden armor beside him responded respectfully. Dispatch 4 plundering teams, set up deceitful shadow formations outside the 4 gates of Yulon City. Make sure to trap and seal Luo Feng and Emperor Qing as soon as they return, Elder Tian He instructed. Yes. The figure in golden armor immediately responded, adding, Deputy Workshop Master, to ensure interception, our deceitful shadow formations must not be too far from the city gates. But if they are too close, it'll be difficult to pursue and kill them once they escape inside. Entering the city gates would mean being within Yulon City and having to abide by its rules. Don't worry. Elder Tian He spoke indifferently, if they really have an elder backing them, such beings would disdain fleeing into the city. They would definitely have a showdown with me. All elders have a certain pride embedded deep within their bones. Retreat without a fight? Too shameful. Yes. The figure in golden armor complied. I will stay by the East City Gate. If they are confident, they should return through the same gate they left from. Elder Tian He immediately took up residence in a cave mansion near the East City Gate, patiently waiting. Which elder dares to disrespect me? I'm really looking forward to this. Elder Tian, he was quite excited. Killing a junior was trivial, but having a fierce battle, utterly tearing another elder apart, that's what would be satisfying. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng, however, had temporarily put the matter out of his mind. He needed to have a proper hunt. After all, he was quite poor at the moment and needed to hunt enough game to exchange for resources required for cultivation. Right in the depths of the lake. Luo Feng was currently within the black flying boat, using the biomimetic eye of destruction on his brow to peer at a distant lake. He had already spotted a low-level primordial life form merged with the lake, its methods of hiding expertly executed. Unfortunately for it, it couldn't escape from his sight. Whoosh! A blood-colored shadow burst forth from Luo Feng's body, instantly merging with heaven and earth. Afterwards, a vast blood-colored shadow enveloped the entire lake. The mere presence of the shadow, like a wide net, completely trapped the low-level primordial life form. What's going on? An 8-armed creature, its skin dark and burning with faint, cold flames, squirmed viciously. With its triangular head ferociously contorted, it struggled mightily to break free from the blood-colored shadow ensnaring it. However, as the blood shadow penetrated, in just a moment, it was silent. The corpse remained intact, but the life core inside had begun to fracture. 8-armed Nether Luo, they are just the weakest tier in their race. With the strength of an early-stage divine emperor, Luo Feng shook his head slightly. Such low-level prey was too weak for Luo Feng. He didn't even bother using any secret treasure, relying solely on his undying blood sea body. With just a slight spread of the blood sea, enveloping that vast area was enough to trap and eliminate the enemy. This undying blood sea body was, after all, developed with reference to the Star Tower blood-colored scale, fashioned from of Luo Feng's own realm of understanding as his mightiest secret technique, taking the most time to develop. This body alone was comparable to a low-level primordial life at the late stage of Divine Emperor. Coupled with Luo Feng's realm and some treasures, its power was naturally formidable. We've been hunting for 5 days now and have only hunted 3 early-stage Divine Emperor low-level primordial life forms. Luo Feng frowned. Brother Emperor Qing, we need to find some stronger game. The combined value of these 3 wasn't much, only close to 3 million primordial crystals. Brother Luo Feng, we've always hunted this way, Emperor Qing said. The main prey has been low-level primordial life at the early stage of Divine Emperor. Occasionally, we might encounter something more formidable. What I mean is, can we go deeper? Luo Feng inquired. According to the information I bought, our current hunting area is a mid-stage Divine Emperor's hunting ground. Hunting grounds were demarcated by successive generations of cultivators in Yulon City, proven with their lives. The stronger the cultivator, the deeper they can hunt. These are the elders' hunting areas. Luo Feng gestured, and a map appeared before him, which recorded some ranges where elders occasionally went hunting. We can try venturing further into some areas first, just to see. The elders of Yulon City usually hunted alone. Mainly because at their level, they seldom left the city, making it difficult to assemble a team. Also, with the existence of the clone technique, their rare excursions outside the city were solitary hunts. Compared to the terror of the Dark Sacred Realm, the danger level of the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm was indeed much lower. The elders' hunting areas? Emperor Qing sounded nervous. I haven't tried it before, I have no experience. Hunting experience is accumulated bit by bit, Luo Feng said with a slight smile. All right. If you're not scared, Brother Luo Feng, why should I be? Emperor Qing's heart flared with enthusiasm, eager for the rare experience of venturing into an elder's hunting area. The black flying boat rapidly advanced, piercing through the dense clouds, moving further and further away from Yulon City. According to the map, we have tentatively entered the elder hunting area. Emperor Qing became tense. He put all his effort into probing the vast void around them. In this area, my strength is too weak. I must rely on you, Brother Luo Feng. Don't worry. Luo Feng's glabella opened the biomimetic eye of destruction, and the Xianqing Sky Annihilation Array map inside his body was also in operation, enveloping the surrounding vast expanse with an array formation domain centered on the flying boat to prevent ambushes. You know the rules of hunting, Emperor Qing whispered. I have only one thing to say. this being our first time in the elder hunting area, we need to maintain the highest level of vigilance. The rules and experiences of hunting can be bought from intelligence dealers in Yulon City, of course, Luo Feng knew them. But to turn other people's experiences into one's own requires repeated trials. Sasha tilde. While Luo Feng and Emperor Qing were slowly maneuvering the black flying boat, a virtual creature resembling a centipede was slowly creeping along, having completely concealed itself. Not even Luo Feng's biomimetic eye of destruction detected the slightest sign of it. It was called the Blood Demon Elisai. The Blood Demon Elisai clan, among the low-level primordial life, is a rather large race with a great reputation, notorious for concealment and deadly poison. Cultivators were also extremely wary of it. Sasha tilde. This Blood Demon Elisai slowly meandered, eyeing the distant black flying boat, and it detected an array formation domain around the flying boat. Two cultivators daring to delve deep here? But looking at the two of them, they don't appear to be elders from Yulon City. The Blood Demon Elisai observed, as a late-stage Divine Emperor-level Blood Demon Elisai, it held a certain status within its clan and had some intelligence on the elders of Yulon City. The intelligence it had was quite outdated. However, in normal circumstances, there are only slight changes in the long years for the elders of Yulon City. Let's give it a try first. After observing for a moment, the Blood Demon Elisai decided not to wait any longer. Delay could lead to unexpected changes. With time passing, it's possible that other members of its species would discover these two cultivators and these two pieces of meat might get eaten by its kin. Cultivators hunt low-level primordial life, but likewise, low-level primordial life also yearn to hunt these cultivators. By killing enough cultivators, they can obtain various benefits such as bloodline evolution, strength enhancement, and full recovery of freedom. This is my prey. The Blood Demon Elisai suddenly pounced. At this moment, Luo Feng and Emperor Qing, piloting the black flying boat, maintained the highest level of vigilance, with Luo Feng also keeping the Xianqing Sky Annihilation Array map within his body operational, safeguarding the array formation domain. But indeed, they had not detected the Blood Demon Elisai. Rip! A terrifying fluctuation instantly pierced through the Xianqing Sky Array formation domain, causing Luo Feng's face to drastically change. Not good. It was only when the formidable enemy breached the array formation domain that Luo Feng noticed a twisted creature covered with dense claws, resembling a centipede. The mere perception of it caused Luo Feng to experience a multitude of sensations such as nausea, dizziness, and the world turning upside down. It's the Blood Demon Elisai. Luo Feng instantly recognized the identity of the attacker, and his blood sea undying body fully erupted in response. Boom 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 tilde. The vast endless blood sea surged outwards in all directions, also hitting the attacking Blood Demon Elisai. The endless blood sea, with the Xianqing Sky Annihilation Array map as its core, operated with terrifying might, forcibly blocking the Blood Demon Elisai's pounce. I will collect you first. Luo Feng unleashed the blood sea undying body also to protect Emperor Qing. At this moment, Emperor Qing was already on the verge of collapse. Simply by seeing the Blood Demon Elisai, one could be poisoned. If touched, the severity would be 100 or even 1,000-fold worse. Who? While telepathically conveying his message, Luo Feng also collected Emperor Qing directly. The intense toxicity of the Blood Demon Elisai was too dreadful. Even a late-stage divine emperor who was enlightened could be poisoned to death if their physical body was weaker. Emperor Qing was indeed incapable of making contact with the opponent. Having collected Emperor Qing, Luo Feng was then able to go all out in hand-to-hand combat with the Blood Demon Elisai. This fierce poison. Luo Feng resisted the Blood Demon Elisai with his endless blood sea, but in doing so, he also came into contact with it. The terrible poison contained within the Blood Demon Elisai naturally transferred into the blood sea, and began to rapidly infiltrate and spread. Die? The Blood Demon Elisai had great confidence in its own toxicity. Even though they were lower-level beings, they were born primordial lives, entities meant to break free from cages. Its poison was extremely frightening. Sometimes, with its deadly poison alone, it could repel or even kill late-stage Divine Emperor enlightened ones. Whoosh! Luo Feng's blood sea undying body was vast enough, without much consideration, he instantly struck back with a claw. The enormous fluffy claw was simply too big. Its sweep covered a wide area, the blood demon Elisai had nowhere to hide and was forcefully torn apart by the fluffy claw. The instant it was touched and torn, the blood demon Elisai naturally divided, splitting into billions of parts, billions of tiny centipedes that merged into the endless blood sea. A single strike has shattered my true body. After being struck by the claw, the blood demon Elisai was also startled, so vicious. The power of this claw was too terrifying to withstand, it had no choice but to completely divide along with the attack. Hiss 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 tilde 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 tilde. The world turned upside down. The blood sea was boundless. Xianqing Sky. The Xianqing Sky Annihilation Array map within Luo Feng's body operated at full force, enveloping a vast area with the endless blood sea, wrapping up the billions of tiny centipedes within its range and collecting them all into the blood sea eye. Inside the blood sea eye, the array operated, imprisoning billions of tiny blood demon Elisai within a space cage. Countless tiny blood demon Elisai fiercely retaliated, causing the space cage to tremble as if it were about to shatter. Undying heart, quell. Suddenly a green treasure pearl appeared, and under its guidance, with it as the core, numerous channels extended throughout Luo Feng's physical body and even spread into the infinite blood sea. With this network of channels sprawling everywhere, the might of the endless blood sea increased several-fold, and its toughness shot up by dozens of times, acquiring a hint of an undying charm. The blood sea eye, as the core of the undying blood sea body, was now merged within this green treasure pearl. With the enhancement of the undying heart, the stability of the blood sea eye soared, as did the rigidity of the space cage, forcefully suppressing the billions of tiny blood demon Elisai. Hiss tilde tilde. Inside the blood sea eye, rolling blood waves condensed into a fuzzy claw, whose terrifying might crushing the tiny blood demon Elisai. 1 claw, 2 claws, 3 claws. With each swipe, large numbers of blood demon Elisai were crushed to pieces. No, no. How is this possible? He's not even listed among the elders of Yulon City, how could he be so strong? As billions of tiny blood demon Elisai were continuously crushed, they struggled in vain. First, they couldn't escape, and second, the greatly enhanced might of the undying blood sea body wielding the fuzzy claw was far too terrifying. Merely 6 swipes, and Luo Feng had torn apart the hidden life core of the blood demon Elisai. Once the life core split open, all blood demon Elisai naturally merged into one, revealing its true form. In that moment of death, blood demon Elisai couldn't believe that its journey of growth would end today. Finally, I've killed it. Looking at the huge corpse of the blood demon Elisai, Luo Feng also breathed a sigh of relief. I had to use both of my treasures to kill it. Just with the palm world, he couldn't trap the blood demon Elisai. Only with the blood sea undying body enhanced by the undying heart could he comprehensively suppress the blood demon Elisai. Only then did he have the opportunity to inflict heavy damage with each claw, and even kill it. I can also count myself as having killed a low-level primordial life at the late stage of Divine Emperor. Luo Feng was somewhat wistful. At the elder level, only a few could kill a low-level primordial life at the late stage Divine Emperor in a one-on-one fight. Luo Feng also knew that he had relied on the power of treasures. Without the undying heart and the palm world, these two treasures, his own strength would drastically decrease. He couldn't possibly deal with this blood demon Elisai. It's dead, yet this virulent poison is still seeping through. Luo Feng frowned. Within the endless blood sea, supported by the undying heart, the spread of the virulent poison was greatly slowed. But it was only slowed. The area affected by the poison was constantly expanding without the slightest reduction. This virulent poison can't be destroyed. Luo Feng couldn't care for too much. With a thought, he separated all the energy that had come into contact with blood demon Elisai, discarding all that were tainted with poison. He divided a vast portion, about 1/20th of the endless blood sea. Poisonous invasion. Luo Feng watched as the separated 1/20th of the blood sea was quickly eroded away completely by the poison, eventually leaving behind only a mass of distorted, vast virulence. This virulent mass was a dark black sphere about 3,000 kilometers in diameter, constantly twisting and tumbling with countless thread-like substances within it. Suddenly, this ball formed of twisted threads rapidly collapsed and shrank, finally condensing into a fist-sized, black liquid. I actually can't handle it. Luo Feng watched in shock. He dared not to directly touch this virulent poison. This is the specialty of low-level primordial lives. After all, they are beings born to break out of the cage, possessing some incomprehensibly special characteristics. Some of them hide away, beyond the ken of cultivators. There are even some that can break through the many defenses of Yulon City and infiltrate directly into the city. In every epoch, there are cultivators within the city who are assassinated by these infiltrating low-level primordial lives. Luckily for Luo Feng, he resides in the inner city, and his stay has been short, so he has not yet encountered such an event. The LSI poison can also fetch a high price, better to store it away for now. Luo Feng immediately used a storage treasure to collect this fist-sized black liquid. Storing the LSI poison must be done with care, as it cannot touch any living matter. Once it touches, it will immediately seep through and erode. Unless one breaks out of the cage, their own energy form cannot eliminate this virulent poison. Hurry and leave, can't linger. In an instant, Luo Feng transformed into a blood shadow, silently merging into the heavens and earth to depart. The first rule of hunting, after killing a low-level primordial life, immediately leave the battlefield. After traveling for a moment, Luo Feng then released the black flying boat and also released Emperor Qing. Although Emperor Qing was still a bit uncomfortable, he was now able to remain absolutely coherent. Escaped? Seeing his surroundings, Emperor Qing quickly remarked, "Blood Demon LSI has a strong tracking ability. If it failed in its assassination, it might secretly pursue us, or even call for companions." "Don't worry, it's dead," Luo Feng said. Emperor Qing was stunned. The Blood Demon LSI was tricky to deal with. "I had to exert all my strength, and it was not easy to kill it," Luo Feng said. "Now we've moved quite far from the battlefield and are relatively safe, let's continue the hunt." Blood Demon LSI has been slain. Emperor Qing felt a tumultuous surge within his heart. These innate primordial life forms, although their moves are crude, each possessed enormously tenacious life force. To defeat is easy, to kill is hard. According to the experience in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, enlightened cultivators of the same level, when facing low-level primordial life one-on-one, generally hold a slight advantage. But to kill them is extremely difficult. Hence the need for several team members to hunt together. Luo Feng, with his own strength, has killed a late-stage Divine Emperor low-level primordial life. Such power is considered extremely strong even among the elders, thought Emperor Qing. Even Elder Tian he is not to be feared. Even if Elder Tian he has accumulated profound strength, as long as he hasn't reached the half-primordial level, he couldn't possibly slay Luo Feng with such might. Even if Elder Tian he has a slight upper hand, Luo Feng's name will still spread throughout Yulon City. Good, let's continue hunting. Emperor Qing calmed his emotions and drove the black flying boat forward. "Brother Luo Feng, this should be the last time we hunt together as a team," Emperor Qing sighed. "I thought I could be of some help, but who would have thought I wouldn't be able to lift a finger, even becoming a burden to you? The threat posed by late-stage Divine Emperor low-level primordial life is too great." Just like the previous LSI poison, if even a bit touched Emperor Qing, this very avatar of him would be annihilated. Brother Emperor Qing was able to reach the middle stage of Divine Emperor within a single reincarnation era in the land of origin, Luo Feng smiled. Such talent, surpassing even that of the two countries' ancestors. In the future, let alone at the elder level, there's even hope for half-primordial. Emperor Qing chuckled upon hearing that. He indeed had this confidence. But Emperor Qing also understood. He would need to endure through long years, with immense hardship, born into death, struggling immensely to touch upon the half-primordial. That was probably the limit for his lifetime. But for Luo Feng with such a growth rate, the half-primordial level seems within easy reach, with utterly no obstruction. Perhaps it's only by breaking out of the braided cage that Brother Luo Feng will spend long years. With his talent, it's possible he could leap out of the braided cage, Emperor Qing thought. He also knew that leaping out of the braided cage was very difficult. In the dark sacred realm, late-stage divine emperor enlightened ones are the minimum threshold, and half-primordial level beings are everywhere. This place gathers countless powerful beings from numerous worlds, yet leaping out of the braided cage remains a legend. Difficult, difficult, difficult. I wonder if Luo Feng's potential could leap out of the braided cage and become primordial life, thought Emperor Qing. As the two conversed, they remained vigilant. Luo Feng's biomimetic eye of destruction in his brow constantly observed his surroundings, and the Shenqing sky annihilation array map within him was always operating, forming a vast domain that protected everything around him. Previously, when ambushed by Blood Demon Elisai, it was precisely the array formation domain that allowed Luo Feng to save Emperor Qing in time. Luo Feng's biomimetic eye of destruction peered into the distance ahead to the left. There was a cluster of clouds concealing the area, but Luo Feng could still manage a glimpse through them, spotting creatures covered in blue-white scale armor with 8 hooves each, and every one of them had a single horn, radiating coldness, naturally forming clouds. 15 Frost Soul Watchers. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with excitement. In the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm, lower-level primordial life consists of many different races. In terms of numbers, the Frost Soul Watchers come first. Their numbers are terrifyingly large. Even the hunters of Yulon City have seen thousands of Frost Soul Watchers acting in unison, with 3 of them at the level of Divine Emperor perfection among such a formidable force. Against such a large team, no cultivator in Yulon City dares to obstruct them. They mostly act in groups outside. A lone Frost Soul Watcher is a rare occurrence. A solitary Frost Soul Watcher is generally one that has failed the competition for leadership and been exiled. To vie for leadership, one must certainly be at the level of Divine Emperor perfection. Therefore, encountering a Frost Soul Watcher acting alone is even more frightening and dangerous. 15 Frost Soul Watchers. Emperor Qing said in surprise on the side, "It looks like a small squad. Judging by their stature, breadth, and scale armor patterns, they should all be at the middle stage of Divine Emperor," Luo Feng determined. Although Frost Soul Watchers are numerous among the lower-level primordial lives, all other aspects about them are quite ordinary. Concealment, escape, attack, self-defense, they know a little of everything, but every aspect is quite ordinary. These 15 Frost Soul Watchers, let's try to take them out in one fell swoop, Luo Feng said. Emperor Qing, you help too. Emperor Qing nodded. I will try to block them. The cloud cluster's flying speed wasn't fast, and the 15 Frost Soul Watchers stood there, watching all around. Though their observation capabilities were far inferior to Luo Feng's secret technique biomimetic destruction eye, they still knew a bit about the art of observation. They were very patient, vigilantly watching in all directions. Once they spotted prey, they would set off collectively. Lower-level primordial lives love hunting cultivators. But Frost Soul Watchers are a very ferocious race, and these large numbers occasionally devour other lower-level primordial lives as well. Whoosh tilde 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 tilde. The endless blood sea suddenly appeared, with the boundless blood color spreading throughout heaven and earth. The blood sea enveloped the cloud cluster and the 15 Frost Soul Watchers within it. There are cultivators. All 15 Frost Soul Watchers turned to look at the 2 figures in the center of the endless blood sea, Luo Feng and Emperor Qing's figures. Kill. The blood sea was devouring and twisting the cloud cluster, but the cloud cluster completely resisted the erosion of the blood sea. Meanwhile, Emperor Qing was also setting up a sword array from a distance. The cultivator controlling the blood sea should be a late-stage Divine Emperor Enlightened One. The one next to him is much weaker, they assessed. Together, we can break the blood sea and tear both of them to pieces, they plotted. The 15 Frost Soul Watchers were not the least bit afraid. If 3 or 5 elders made a move, they would not hesitate to flee. But merely one elder? They are best at collective combat. Teams of 15 dare to fight a late-stage Divine Emperor Enlightened One. Boom tilde tilde tilde. The 15 Frost Soul Watchers moved in unison, spreading icy chills all around. The cold air transformed the cloud cluster into a single entity, protecting the 15 of them and completely blocking Luo Feng's blood sea invasion. Cultivators, die? The massive clouds transformed into huge, terrifying claws, grasping towards Luophone. Despite strenuous resistance, Luophone was torn apart by the colossal claws and merged into the endless blood sea as waves of blood. He excels at transforming into a blood sea, but his physical combat is rather mediocre. The 15 Frost Soul Watchers instantly exchanged thoughts: destroy its blood sea. Instantly, their combined colossal cloud began to frenziedly absorb the blood waves. Rip! The endless blood sea suddenly erupted in rage. Xianqing sky, a thin line between heaven and earth. A light infused with the aura of life and death instantly pierced through their massive cloud, as well as the body of one of the Frost Soul Watchers. In the moment of penetration, the life caught within was shattered. Carrying the blood waves, the light swept past the Frost Soul Watcher's body, which disappeared into thin air. The remaining 14 Frost Soul Watchers were shocked. His endless blood sea is adept at formations, and its power is quite formidable. Continue absorbing the blood sea. The smaller it gets, the weaker his formations will be. The massive cloud ferociously absorbed, temporarily suppressing the energy from the blood sea that was engulfed. These naturally born primordial lives all have quite bizarre talents. Luophone was intentionally showing weakness at this moment, fearing that these prey would be solely focused on escaping. If the opponents all escaped with their full strength, he would have limited capability to intercept them. First, allow these Frost Soul Watchers to see the possibility of victory. The endless blood sea released by Luophone was merely 1% of the real blood sea's energy reserve, but among cultivators it was considered a normal physical body, so the Frost Soul Watchers didn't suspect anything. Hiss! The light of life and death pierced through the massive cloud once again, taking another Frost Soul Watcher with it. We have already absorbed 30% of the blood sea, he won't last much longer. At this moment, the Frost Soul Watchers were unwilling to give up, crazily absorbing the blood sea, its expanse visibly shrinking at the speed visible to the naked eye. Hiss! 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 Afterward, the light of life and death struck 3 more times, resulting in 3 more Frost Soul Watchers falling dead. By now, the endless blood sea had significantly reduced in size. Hiss! The 6th light of life and death couldn't even penetrate the cloud anymore. His blood sea is only left with 30%, formation power greatly weakened, is no longer a threat to us. The remaining 10 Frost Soul Watchers grew even more frenzied, with the death of 5 comrades only intensifying their murderous intent. You low-level primordial beings do have some tricks. However, you are no match for me. Suddenly, a bloody shadow tried to escape. Escape! All 10 Frost Soul Watchers turned towards that one blood shadow simultaneously. An invisible fluctuation enveloped the blood shadow. Talent, Soul Freeze. The Soul Freeze formed by the 10 Frost Soul Watchers simultaneously wasn't particularly strong. Even without the Lai Yuan technique, Luophone could withstand it easily, at most affecting his escape skill. Moreover, he had the protection of the Lai Yuan technique and the Undying Heart. The Undying Heart provides protection to the soul as well. This Soul Freeze had no real effect on Luophone. The escaping blood shadow seemed momentarily disrupted, the escape skill broken, revealing his physical form. Cultivator, you cannot escape. The 10 Frost Soul Watchers were all very excited, as the massive cloud suddenly became incomparably huge, aiming to completely devour all the blood waves, including the silhouette of Luophone. Is that so? Luophone appeared to be in a frenzy. Boom! He transformed into a fleeting shadow, forcefully piercing through the blood waves. A blurry claw swept past one of the Frost Soul Watchers, cracking open another Frost Soul Watcher's life core and taking away a corpse. What? The remaining 9 Frost Soul Watchers felt disconcerted. The already greatly weakened cultivator had taken away another one. About time. Luophone was not willing to delay any longer. First, the number of Frost Soul Watchers had dropped from 15 to 9, which meant the threat level was less than half of what it was before. Second, within the Elder hunting area, battle engagements must be swift, as dragging it out could lead to accidents. Rumble tilde 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 tilde. The endless blood sea unfolded, and a towering figure appeared. The towering figure had an undying heart within its body. Led by the undying heart, countless vessels extended throughout its entire body and also spread throughout the entire endless blood sea. The undying blood sea body, utilizing the undying heart, its might instantly surged several times over. Swoosh! As the undying blood sea body fully erupted, Luo Feng's right hand also transformed into a huge, fuzzy claw. With the immortal body driving this claw instantly tore through the massive cloud, as well as ripping apart the ranks of the Frost Soul Watchers, killing 2 Frost Soul Watchers on the spot. He's been hiding his strength. He's not just any ordinary elder. Escape. The remaining 7 Frost Soul Watchers realized they had been tricked. In an instant, they transformed into 7 rays of light, as swift as the light of the spirit. The resistance brought by the blood waves was minimal, and the 7 rays of light rapidly attempted to flee. However, in terms of escape skills, even though they were capable, they were far inferior to the likes of Blood Demon Elisai. Luo Feng clearly saw the 7 rays of light. Swoosh! The blood waves churned, and the world seemed to turn upside down. Suppress! The entire blood sea space pressed down. In an instant, it trapped 5 of the rays of light, confining them within the blood sea eye. As for the other 2 escaping rays of light, one encountered Luo Feng's fuzzy claw, which deployed the palm world to envelop it, while the other light ray was obstructed by Emperor Qing's sword array. Soon, these Frost Soul Watchers were all captured and killed one by one. I actually managed to capture them all. Luo Feng was quite excited. A single Frost Soul Watcher was manageable, but when 15 combined into a team, the difficulty skyrocketed. By feigning weakness, he was able to trap the opposition completely. 15 Frost Soul Watchers, that's almost worth 200 million primordial crystals. Emperor Qing was also quite buoyed. He had finally contributed significantly. Let's leave this place first. Luo Feng was also very lucid, not daring to linger too long in the battlefield. The 2 of them immediately maneuvered the black flying boat and swiftly flew away. Just a few dozen breaths later, 9 even more terrifying Frost Soul Watchers arrived at the scene. Their gazes penetrated the void, their cold aura affecting the vast surrounding area as they meticulously searched for any traces of the battle. One of my teams has been completely wiped out, not a single one managed to escape, said one of the 9 Frost Soul Watchers with a terrifying aura. The strength of these cultivators is relatively strong this time. The homeland has been attacked, and I have already reported it. I believe that leaders are already tracking them down. There is an enormous quantity of low-level primordial life. If it is just the outermost perimeter being attacked, they won't care too much because the outer range is too vast, and hunting down those cultivators would be too difficult. But an attack on the homeland, the low-level primordial life groups would quickly dispatch forces from all directions to hunt them down. These cultivators, with their small numbers and weak strength. If it weren't for city sanctuaries protecting them, we would have devoured them all by now. They can hide within their cities, occasionally coming out to launch sneak attacks. These Frost Soul Watchers were quite discontent. In terms of overall strength, low-level primordial life are much stronger than cultivators. But one side has the protection of cities, where they can safely cultivate and draw sustenance from them to their heart's content. It will be comfortable once we breach another city. Then we can devour those cultivators to our heart's content. Yes, I heard that after the last attack on Beiyang City, our kin in the vicinity of Beiyang City had a feast on the cultivators that are rarely seen. There were several 100 million of them in the city. It's a pity that breaching a city is too difficult. The 9 Rivers Sacred Realms 35 cities require merit to apply for construction, and the cities are exchanged for the tremendous city secret treasures using merit, along with joint control by hall masters and elders, making them extremely secure. Even with their powerful strength, the low-level primordial life find it difficult to breach cities head-on. Only with internal and external collusion is there hope of breaching a city. Every breach of a city is a horrifying catastrophe for the city. Senior Yuan and the others established the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm as a place to temper the younger generation. They already made arrangements favoring cultivators. If even under these circumstances the cities of cultivators are breached, it would only mean the cultivators themselves are too incompetent. Huff. The 9 Frost Soul Watchers were casually chatting and at the same time flying at super high speed atop clouds, patrolling in all directions. Primordial Wild Hoof Leader, late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon Elisai, and 15 middle-stage Divine Emperor Frost Soul Watchers have been killed in your territory. It is suspected that an elder has entered the homeland to start hunting. A message was conveyed. Understood. A terrifying thunder burst forth from the vast river, bathed in thunder and began to patrol its territory immediately. The elder hunting area is very close to the 9 rivers. Coming to hunt in my territory. The terrifying figure within the thunder traversed the void at incredible speed. The vast territory surrounding Yulon City is home to low-level primordial life of many species, among which the primordial Wild Hoof clan is a species with fewer numbers but generally strong individuals. Within the territory surrounding Yulon City, there is only one of the primordial Wild Hoof clan who has achieved Divine Emperor Perfection, who naturally is also the clan leader. Divine Emperor Perfection level, low-level primordial life are still very rare. For a species as numerous as the Frost Soul Watchers, in the vicinity of Yulon City, there may be several at the Divine Emperor Perfection level. But for the vast majority of species, there may be only one at the Divine Emperor Perfection level, or perhaps none at all. The so-called Elder Hunting Area within the homeland of low-level primordial life is divided into territories overseen by leaders. This is the greatest danger of elder hunting. After all, these low-level primordial life also possess high intelligence. They would not foolishly allow themselves to be hunted. To kill one in the homeland would trigger a pursuit. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Inside the black flying boat. We've killed 15 middle-stage Divine Emperor Frost Soul Watchers, none of them escaped, Emperor Qing said excitedly. By value, this team of Frost Soul Watchers is slightly more valuable than the previous Blood Demon Elisai. Luo Feng nodded. A late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon Elisai has an extremely high poison value, so its corpse can sell for around 150 million primordial crystals, considering its merit points worth about 10 million merit points. So the total price is about 160 million primordial crystals. The 15 Frost Soul Watchers, including merit, should be able to sell for around 190 million primordial crystals. We can almost return now, said Luo Feng. My original plan was to return after hunting 2 late-stage Divine Emperor prey. Now we're about there. We should be more cautious, Emperor Qing agreed. The Elder Hunting Area is the homeland of the low-level primordial life activity range. There are too many powerful beings. They encountered prey twice. Once was a late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon Elisai, and the other time was a team of Frost Soul Watchers. This indicates that in the homeland region, the number of low-level primordial life and their strength are vast. Huff. After deciding, Emperor Qing immediately drove the black flying boat, carefully starting the return journey towards Yulon City. Luo Feng observed the surrounding area. My strength is still a little too dangerous in the elder hunting area, thought Luo Feng to himself. The elders occasionally dare to come, partly because they are avatars, and also do not bring undying heart palm world and such extremely precious treasures. So even if an avatar perishes, it wouldn't be a big loss. Luo Feng, carrying 2 treasures, was naturally more careful. When my strength advances further, it will be suitable to frequently come to hunt in the homeland, contemplated Luo Feng. If his life and death Dao advances further, reaching the middle stage of Divine Emperor. As the Dao of Fusion, the middle stage life and death Dao of Divine Emperor should be comparable to the perfect level of a common Dao. At that time, his strength should be considered at the level of a Hall Master. As long as he didn't venture into the inner parts of the 9 rivers, his safety would be relatively high. However, it has been 900 epochs since I arrived in Yulon City, and my life and death Dao has only just reached the early stage of Divine Emperor. To reach the middle stage of Divine Emperor, I will face even greater obstacles, and it's expected to take a considerable amount of time, Luo Feng pondered. His current cultivation was going smoothly, without encountering any bottlenecks. Some cultivators were stuck at bottlenecks, unable to make any further progress. That was real suffering. I should do as Senior Yuan and the others said. It's best not to look at other cultivators' inheritances and rely solely on my own exploration, making each step solid enough. Luo Feng thought, having not purchased any half-primordial inheritance thus far. Like a blank slate, looking at other cultivators' inheritances would only contaminate my path. Reliance on self-exploration. My every gain stems from a clear understanding of the essence, making it solid. Luo Feng is really too strong. As Luo Feng pondered his cultivation, Emperor Qing, who was next to him, was still shocked by the gains from this venture. To have such a harvest just from visiting the elder hunting area, he must be considered one of the stronger elders by now. At this rate, won't it be a short time until he reaches the level of the 3 Hall Masters? Emperor Qing thought, perhaps the entire structure of Yulon City will change because of Brother Luo Feng. No, with Brother Luo Feng's talent, he might not even regard Yulon City highly. Emperor Qing's emotions were complex. In his eyes, the 3 high and mighty Hall Masters of Yulon City may not hold much importance to Brother Luo Feng. Who? Each lost in their own thoughts, the black flying boat sped through the sky at an incredibly high speed. Suddenly, in the distance, a terrifying bolt of lightning appeared, looking towards them from afar. HM? Luo Feng and Emperor Qing both were startled and dared not be distracted by other thoughts. It is. Emperor Qing couldn't believe what he was seeing, a fearsome bolt of lightning in the distance. The sheer terror of its presence, even from a great distance, gave Emperor Qing a chill. It was an aura far surpassing that of Blood Demon Elisai. Luo Feng also stared into the distance. Instinctively, a strong sense of threat warned Luo Feng, making his soul tremble. Boom! Luo Feng was grazed and instantly sent flying backward. However, his body remained intact, with no injuries. The ferociously charging primordial wild hoof leader, however, slightly turned its head, continuously keeping a firm gaze on Luo Feng. When it noticed that Luo Feng had withstood its graze, there was a flash of excitement in its eyes. Its hoof claws were as fast as lightning, and stomped out fiercely. The hoof claw, infused with thunder, stomped out from up close. Luo Feng had no time to react and was struck by the hoof claw. The hoof claw was too massive. Luo Feng appeared far too small in comparison. Bang! The trampling hoof claw, more than 10 times more ferocious than the previous graze, had a terrifying force that shocked Luo Feng. His undying blood seed body could no longer withstand it, unable to maintain the physical form. With this trampling, Luo Feng could only burst open by going with the momentum, turning into an endless blood sea. Only by turning into a blood sea could he unload as much of the terrifying trampling force as possible. Even with the blessing of the undying heart, I can't withstand the trampling of the primordial wild hoof. Luo Feng was shocked, but it was within his expectations. This race was known as Primordial Wild Hoof Clan, because their trampling was their most dreadful move. With a physical body that is top tier within its level, the trampling of the Primordial Wild Hoof reached an unbelievable level of might. The trampling might of a late-stage Divine Emperor Primordial Wild Hoof can reach the threshold of the enlightened at Divine Emperor Perfection. Divine Emperor Perfection? Under such trampling might, the undying blood seed body would be forced to burst open, unable to maintain its physical body form. With Luo Feng's strength, also possessing the undying heart and palm world, he should generally be able to preserve his life with relative ease, even when encountering a low-level primordial life at Divine Emperor Perfection. However, he encountered the primordial wild hoof leader. He actually withstood my trampling. The primordial wild hoof leader was somewhat surprised. In Yulon City, only 3 Hall Masters could stand up to it in a direct fight. Ordinary elders dare not resist it head-on, only trying to escape for their lives with various secret techniques. The vast, boundless endless blood sea, within which were the undying heart and Xianqing sky annihilation map, both bolstering it, made the defense and resilience of the blood sea extremely strong. With the vastness and resilience of my undying blood sea body, one trampling consumed 2% of my energy reserve. Luo Feng was astonished. Whoosh! While still astonished, Luo Feng also took action. A furry claw suddenly extended from the blood sea without any warning, and when it extended, it was already beneath the abdomen of the primordial wild hoof leader. Rip! Luo Feng, understanding the principle of life and death, fully activated the lethal move of the innate secret treasure palm world. Luo Feng didn't use it to suppress with a world, knowing it would be futile. What he utilized was the tearing and destructive power of the claw. The claw was exceedingly sharp. Fortified by the power of the undying blood seed body, and driving the secret patterns within the claw, it was Luo Feng's strongest strike. Luo Feng even believed that such a strike might pose a substantial threat to a half-primordial level powerhouse. This claw, suddenly extending from the blood sea, was too sudden and fast. The massive primordial wild hoof leader didn't even have the chance to dodge, or perhaps it simply disdained to avoid the move. Slash! Luo Feng felt his claw, with 5 knife-sharp fingertips, penetrate the shallow white scale armor of the primordial wild hoof leader's abdomen. According to the materials from some corpses in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, the scale armor of the Abyss Wild Hoof clan generally had hundreds of layers. SSS. Luo Feng's all-out effort with one claw managed to barely pierce and penetrate 2 layers of scale armor. It has layers, and I only managed to pierce 2 despite going all out. At this moment, Luo Feng finally understood what it meant for its physical body to be one of the top amongst those born as primordial life forms of the low-level primordial life clans. Suddenly taking this claw, the primordial wild hoof leader was somewhat surprised, its surface scale armor showing slight cracks. The formless thunder flowed, naturally restoring the cracked scale armor. Roar! The primordial wild hoof leader suddenly let out a roar. This roar? It was like thunder rumbling, the sound impacting in all directions, causing the endless blood sea to roll and shake, and even the surface of the blood sea was obliterated by the shock waves. The roar also impacted Luo Feng's spiritual will. Of course, after reaching the early stage of Divine Emperor in the Life and Death Tao, Luo Feng's spiritual will naturally climbed Divine Emperor perfection level, although not at its extreme. But with such a level of spiritual will, plus the Lai Yuan technique and the bolstering of the undying heart, it could still withstand the impact of this roar. Boom boom boom. As the roar echoed, the primordial wild hoof leader started to charge, and every hoof claw trampled fiercely upon the endless blood sea. Although the might of the trampling now was not as powerful as the originally charged hoof claw, now it was a continuous trampling, with about 50 to 60% of the previous force. But it was a relentless assault. Rumbling tilde, this entire world trembled and shattered, with phantom secret patterns of the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm's sealing chains appearing. Under the relentless trampling of the primordial wild hoof leader, the energy of Luo Feng's endless blood sea was swiftly depleting. In a few moments, 30% was consumed. Blood sea, heaven and earth. Suddenly, the entire blood sea unleashed its might, a blood-red haze shrouding heaven and earth. At this moment, it was hard to distinguish directions, as the world of blood had already started to transform into the Xianqing sky. Trapped within the Xianqing sky, the primordial wild hoof leader could not see anything beyond it. Quick, escape! Primordial wild hoof clan, an existence at Divine Emperor perfection level, Luo Feng's soul shuddered at the terrible aura without a doubt of it being at Divine Emperor perfection level. It must be the leader of the primordial wild hoof clan. As a rare species in the vicinity of Yulon City, there should be only one at the level of Divine Emperor perfection. Naturally, it would be the leader. The primordial wild hoof, at first glance, is entirely black, but upon closer inspection, it faintly radiates a deep blue hue. Its huge body is covered with layers of scale armor, and on both sides of its head are sharply curved horns. Its eyes, full of lightning, looked at Luo Feng and Emperor Qing, causing a tremor in their hearts. Brother Luo Feng, Emperor Qing knew something bad was happening. You go hide first, I'll have to find a way to escape. Luo Feng quickly stowed Emperor Qing away, as well as the black flying boat. Luo Feng had no thoughts of defeating the opponent. His intention was to escape. Divine Emperor perfection level, and it's a member of the primordial wild hoof clan. Luo Feng knew this was the gravest threat he had faced since he arrived in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm. There are many races among the low-level primordial life, each with different talents. Frost Soul Watchers were jack of all trades but master of none. Blood Demon LSI specialized in stealth and poison, but its capability in direct combat was average. Primordial Wild Hoof was different. Its racial talent was incredibly powerful. Among beings of the same level, it was considered an extremely strong existence. In terms of physical body, among the same low-level primordial lives, it was undoubtedly one of the most terrifying. The three Hall Masters had once killed Divine Emperor Perfection low-level primordial lives one-on-one. But on one hand, all three Hall Masters possessed sufficiently powerful treasures, and on the other hand, they had encountered their opponents. If they encountered a Divine Emperor Perfection level primordial Wild Hoof, even the three Hall Masters would probably be helpless. "You dare to hunt in my territory?" A deep voice echoed across the vast expanse of the void, as the primordial Wild Hoof leader coldly watched Luo Feng. "You are a newly promoted elder of Yulon City. Your avatar will not be making an escape." The words had hardly fallen. Boom! The surrounding vast void suddenly solidified into terrifying green lightning, which struck directly at Luo Feng. The lightning came too fast, leaving Luo Feng no chance to dodge. Bang! The lightning struck Luo Feng directly. In Luo Feng's body, the presence of the Undying Heart greatly enhanced the resilience and defensive capabilities of the Undying Blood Sea body, giving it an undying quality. Now, having taken this hit from the fearsome lightning, Luo Feng was somewhat dazed, but his body managed to withstand it. The Undying Heart truly lives up to its name. So resilient, Luo Feng breathed a sigh of relief. Being able to withstand the lightning strike meant there was still a possibility to escape. Huh? The distant primordial Wild Hoof leader was slightly surprised, and then it made its move. Boom! With its movement, bathed in lightning, its terrifying figure spanned heaven and earth in an instant, ripping through the sky. Its mere aftershock caused billions of miles of the surrounding space to begin fracturing layer by layer, allowing a glimpse of the outermost, blurry shadows of the secret patterns. Under a twisted and torn sky, Luo Feng tried his best to dodge, but the terrifying figure had already reached him. Boom! Too ferocious. Luo Feng desperately tried to dodge, but he was still grazed by the massive frame of the primordial Wild Hoof leader. It was just a graze, and Luo Feng felt a terrifying force ravaging his entire body. His physical body, which had more than 1,000 times the perfect divine body energy reserve, and was fortified by the Undying Heart, had its defensive abilities soar dramatically. The secret treasure, Undying Heart, only multiplies power and other aspects by a few times. Even a more powerful half-primordial level secret treasure could achieve this level. But its greatest strength lies in the two words, undying. Combining the mysteries of life and destruction, its ability to preserve life is naturally extremely strong. The moment Luo Feng utilized a part of the Blood Sea to evolve into the Xianqing sky and trap the primordial Wild Hoof leader, he hesitated not, immediately splitting into 3 avatars. Each of the 3 avatars employed secret techniques, their speed skyrocketing to the ultimate limit, fleeing in different directions. HMPH. The primordial Wild Hoof leader let out a cold snort, its form suddenly expanding massively, almost becoming half the size of the entire Xianqing sky. Its gigantic head, with 2 horn-like blades, began to move. Ripping sound. Everything was being cut by the 2 blade-like horns. Even the Xianqing sky was being sliced apart by this terrifying force. The Xianqing sky shattered. The vision of the primordial Wild Hoof leader penetrated the void, instantly locking onto the 3 escaping avatars. Escape! The primordial Wild Hoof leader raged uncontrollably. Boom, boom, boom. 3 immensely powerful bolts of thunder coalesced in the heavens and earth, each bolt of thunder homing in on the 3 avatars of Luo Feng who had fled to extreme distances. The avatars were struck by the sudden lightning, 2 of them unable to withstand, directly obliterated. Only 1 avatar survived the thunder and escaped even faster. Swoosh! That soul-escaping avatar suddenly commandeered a flying boat, fleeing at an even more rapid pace. The primordial Wild Hoof leader opened its mouth wide, spewing out thunder plasma, the thunder rampaging in all directions, annihilating the surrounding blood sea that had trapped it beneath its might. This blood sea accounted for perhaps 1/10 of Luo Feng's energy reserve. Under the relentless, powerful strike of the primordial Wild Hoof leader, it too was completely annihilated. Beneath the thunder, the blood sea ceased to exist. Leave a weaker avatar behind. The primordial wild hoof leader burst forth fiercely, rapidly pursuing the avatar that was commandeering the flying boat. Luo Feng swiftly fled, commandeering the flying boat. However, the primordial wild hoof leader locked onto his aura from afar and relentlessly pursued. The primordial wild hoof leader was too fast, transforming into thunder, tracing its route and caught up entirely in just over 10 breaths' time. Can't escape. Luo Feng, commanding the flying boat, watched the scene unfold before him. Die? The hoof of the primordial wild hoof leader already shrouded him. It's over. Luo Feng watched powerlessly at this scene. At the site where the primordial wild hoof leader and Luo Feng had just begun their battle, the chaotic world gradually returned to calm, with the energies between heaven and earth also slowly recovering. Suddenly, an endless stream of energy between heaven and earth abruptly converged, transforming into the form of a human male, none other than Luo Feng. Luo Feng, with the aid of the secret treasure Undying Heart, could enter the state of between life and death. The Undying Heart, encapsulating the mysteries of both life and destruction, possessed extremely strong life-saving capabilities. Like those proficient in the life path, even if blasted into nothingness, they could still spiritually regenerate from oblivion, partially restoring their life form. Utilizing the Undying Heart, when Luo Feng was attacked into nothingness, he seamlessly transformed a greater part of the blood sea into nothingness, merging the energy into the world. He could thus maintain this state for a short duration. After a period, he would restore his life form. Maintaining the state of neither life nor death, which Luo Feng termed between life and death, in this state, his own energy truly transformed into nothingness, only his spiritual will merging with the world. This is the weakness. If the enemy was strong enough to sense Luo Feng's spiritual will, they would not be deceived. Luo Feng's spiritual will, with the aid of the Undying Heart, perfectly concealed all signs of life, remaining in a state of neither life nor death, enduring. This lasted for 10 breaths' time. Afterwards, he would revive once more from nothingness into a life form. Finally deceived that primordial wild hoof leader. Luo Feng immediately released the void netherworld pupil ship, commandeered the ship, and vanished into the crevices of the void in an instant, disappearing without a trace with astounding speed. The speed of the void netherworld pupil ship was far faster than the other avatar that controlled the water drop flying boat. Ripping sound. As the avatar was completely pulverized by the hoof claw, the primordial wild hoof leader looked at the remaining water drop flying boat with confusion, lightly nudged it, carefully examining the interior of the flying boat. The inside of the flying boat was also empty, devoid of treasures. Just a Divine Emperor late-stage flying boat, and no other treasures? Not even the corpse of a low-level primordial life slain. The primordial wild hoof leader realized at this moment, he still escaped. These cultivators, too cunning. None of the elders it met could withstand a few of its blows head-on, but with all manner of bizarre secret techniques and escapes, some could still save their lives. This episode is end here.